Hey, what is going on, guys? I want to start this video off today with an announcement because if you're watching the gameplay closely and you followed my channel closely, you may notice right off the bat that I have finally made the switch from standard button layout to Builder Pro button layout. You guys have suggested this like crazy in my comment section. I always got like at least 2 or 3 comments of videos saying, yo, why do you play on standard? Isn't Builder Pro better? Isn't Combat Pro better? You know, why are you still on standard? And like I replied to all those comments, it was solely because of the fact that when I started playing, there was no Builder Pro, and I was just way too lazy to make the switch, didn't think it would make me that much better. But the reason I have finally switched to Builder Pro is the reason that I'm making this video today. Double Pump is back. If you guys have not played Fortnite for a while or just didn't really pay attention to the Fortnite meta, so to say, Double Pump dominated the shotgun meta about 2 to 3 months ago. It was basically the shotgun combination used by every top player, streamer, and YouTuber, and it eventually became such an epidemic and so overpowered that Epic actually had to step in and patch Double Pump because so many people were complaining. And that's how, you know, Pump Tac came to be, Pump Heavy, all the other Pump something else combinations that have been used over the past 2 to 3 months after Double Pump got patched. But just a few days ago, Epic made a change to the switch delay of the pump shotgun, and I am here to proclaim that Double Pump is officially back and probably just as good as ever. Now, Double Pump, if you don't know, is only possible on the Combat Pro and Builder Pro button layout. Now, luckily, I don't think this is that big of a problem. It's very rare that people still use the standard button layout like I did. So hopefully, like at least 90 or 95% of you guys will be able to double pump. It's basically not possible on standard because to double pump, you're going to need 2 pumps in your inventory, obviously. And the whole way it works is you're basically switching back and forth the entire fight. If you play standard, you can only switch to the right and can't switch to the left. So after your first 2 pump shots, you either have to eat the pump delay, the cockback, which makes the pump not as overpowered, or you just switch to whatever's third in your inventory, and that's obviously not going to be a pump shotgun, so it's just basically not possible to double pump on the standard button layout, and that's the biggest reason why I switched to Builder Pro. Now, just a basic of double pump, even though I just gave you guys a brief explanation, it's 2 pumps in your inventory, and what you're going to want to do to make it work is shoot the first pump, switch to the second pump, shoot it, switch back to the first pump, shoot it, switch back to the second pump, and basically repeat this every single time until you've killed whoever you're fighting, or unfortunately, hopefully not, die to whoever you're fighting. Luckily, you have 10 shots between both pumps, so that should be enough to kill, you know, even teams of 4 with relative ease because any shot could go for 200 damage, and that's basically what makes double pump so good. Probably the biggest reason I switched to double pump actually was because I have just seen so much inconsistency in the tac shotgun recently. I loved pump tac. It enabled me to stay on standard without being at too much of a disadvantage, but it seems like after they implemented double pump back into the game, I almost feel like they did some kind of stealth patch in there to make the tac shotgun worse. I swear I have 9'd more people in like the last 3 or 4 days than I did in the last month before. It is ridiculous how many times I was hitting my first pump shot, switching to the tac, you know, 9, 13, 9, and then the guy just 1 pumps me for 150 damage, so I land 4 shotgun shots, he lands 1, and I end up dying. So frustrating, and probably the main reason I switched to double pump. And if you guys are noticing the same thing and you're a pump tac user, you're probably also going to want to make the switch to double pump. And that's really the biggest reason why I believe that double pump is so overpowered at the moment. The pump shotgun is really, really, really good in Fortnite. I think we can all agree on that. But what makes it overpowered in the sense that double pump is overpowered is that the only thing that keeps the pump shotgun from being unbelievably overused and overpowered is the cockback animation that delays your time in between shots. You know, if you miss 1 shot from a pump and you only have a pump, you're in big trouble because it's going to be like a second to 2 seconds before you can even get off another shot. With double pump, you are basically consistently firing pump shotgun shots without having to deal with the cockback animation. You're almost firing at the rate of attack shotgun, except literally any given shot could go for 200, 220 damage. You know, you could be at such bad odds in a fight. A guy could have high ground, a guy could have you really weak, a guy could have 200 health, and all it takes is one pump shotgun shot to the head, and that's it for the fight. It's ridiculous how good double pump can be if you can line up those shotguns and be accurate. Some general tips of how to use double pump to its fullest potential. You're basically gonna need to get down the muscle memory of double pump as quick as possible. And the best way to do that is to make sure every time you are starting on the same first shotgun. What I mean by that is that if you have the 2 pump shotguns on inventory slot number 2 and inventory slot number 3, you could theoretically double pump by starting on either of the 2 shotguns. If you start on the first one, you just switch to the right and then back to the left. If you start on the second one, you just switch to the left and then back to the right. But you want to avoid doing this as much as possible. If you're a guy that likes to start on inventory slot number 2 pump, you want to do that every single time. That way you can get the muscle memory down of switching right, shooting, switching left, shooting, switching right, shooting. And if you don't get this muscle memory down and you're just starting on a random pump that you don't know the location of every single time, you're going to switch out of the 2 pump rotation, which means, you know, pulling out your AR in a close range shotgun fight, pulling out a med kit in a close range shotgun fight, and that is going to get you killed so many times. It's one of the things I struggled with double pump at first, but if you guys can really build that muscle memory, even though double pump may seem really awkward at first, it'll be a much more seamless transition to learning it, and you'll be able to dominate a lot quicker. Next up, you never want to aim down sights with double pump unless it is your first shot that you're shooting. Close range shotgun fights are almost always hip fire shots, and there's a reason for that. Aiming down sights means you're not jumping, it means you're not strafing. Yeah, you're lining up your shot, but you're making yourself an incredibly easy target. And this is even more so important than it is for normal shotgun fights when it comes to double pump, because you're going to be playing a lot of people over the next few weeks that are also double pumping, and there is no easier way to die in a fight than by standing still to someone using a pump shotgun. So that's why, unless it's the very first shot in your fight and you're going up against someone that doesn't see you or doesn't have a chance to line a shot up against you, that is the only time you can aim down sights. And then every shot after that, after the person reacts in a close range shotgun fight, especially double pump, you should never aim down sight. And along with that, I guess you can consider it the third tip. You're going to want to constantly stay in motion. This is even more important with double pump than it was with pump tack, because like I said, you're going to be going up against people where if you stay still for even a second, it's a pump headshot and you're knocked down or back in the lobby before you can even blink. So you're going to want to stay in constant motion, constantly jumping, constantly strafing, just making it really hard for your opponent to hit you. And you got to know that the time you're most vulnerable in a double pump fight is when you're switching between pumps, because you're not putting out any shots to scare your opponent. They can take their time and line up their shots, and if you're not moving, you're going to be a sitting duck. So that's why I've made a real priority, and I believe that you guys should do the same thing to especially make sure you're moving when switching between the pumps. I know it's going to be really hard on your muscle memory to not only memorize, alright, I got to switch left, I got to switch right, I got to shoot, switch left, switch right, but you also have to move while doing that. So it's going to be an uphill battle. I understand it's going to be a learning curve, but if you can figure it out and really master it, you are going to become a demon in shotgun fights, because double pump is definitely overpowered at this current moment in Fortnite. The final point I want to address in this video, because I know I'm going to get asked questions about it, is pump tack still viable? I know a lot of guys probably think their shotgun aim is bad and probably think double pump is going to be really hard on them, because a pump shotgun is obviously a lot less forgiving than a tack shotgun, which can be spammed a lot more close range. And what I'm going to say to that question is, yes, it's definitely still viable, But don't cut yourself short. You should give double pump a chance no matter how bad you think you are with shotguns. Because I look at it like this. To kill someone with pump tack, you're probably going to have to land, depending on how much damage your initial pump shot does, like 3 to 5 shotgun shots. And if you get unlucky and maybe you miss your first pump, only using attack, it may be even more than that, especially with the 9s and 11s I've been getting recently on hitting guys close range. With double pump, I've been seeing a lot less inconsistency. Now, you're still going to hit for 9s and 13s and numbers that you should not be hitting for that are going to screw you over in fights, but I feel like it is a lot more consistent than the tack shotgun. And I feel like in my double pump fights, I'm usually never needing to land more than 2 or 3 shots to kill a guy, unless it's from like medium range, in which case you should be using an AR or something, not a shotgun instead. So I would give double pump a chance even if you feel like you're going to be bad with it, because you never know. One of my friends is awful with shotgun aim. He knows he's horrible with shotguns, but he just switched to double pump today and he's been absolutely shredding people. You know, you'd think he'd be horrible. He'd miss his first and second pump shot and then die every time. But it's almost like double pump has made him more accurate with shotguns. So I know a lot of guys comment that they struggle with shotgun fights. How can they improve it? Give double pump a try. It may not solve your problem like it solved my friend's problem, but it's worth a try. And at the end of the day, it's an overpowered mechanic in the game, so why not abuse it as long as it's possible? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it, and I hope you'll go out there and give double pump a chance. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.